Technology's Impact on the Learning Process, Preservice EFL Teachers' Perception, by Dr. Jessica Zumarraga from Autonomous University of Yucatan. This is the content that I will be presenting: introduction, theoretical framework, objectives, research questions, methodology, results, discussion, conclusions, and recommendations. For over 2 decades, globalization, the dominance of English as lingua franca, and rapid technological change have continuously disrupted labor markets and professional training. As a result, English language proficiency has become a fundamental requirement for global competitiveness rather than a privilege. In Mexico and Latin America, English as a foreign language plays a key role in preparing students to succeed in an international market. At the same time, technological disruption has pushed universities worldwide to transform their educational practices by integrating digital tools, applications, social media, and artificial intelligence. While these technologies offer unprecedented access to sources, instant feedback, and practice opportunities, they also raise important questions regarding effectiveness, equity, and the preservation of essential human elements in language learning, such as interpersonal interaction and emotional support. The study is situated at the Autonomous University of Yucatan, the largest public state university in southeastern Mexico. This university offers a bachelor's program in English language teaching, which serves as the research context. The perception of future EFL teachers regarding the impact of technology on language learning and teaching provide valuable insights for the Mexican higher education system, especially in the increasingly globalized southeastern region. Technological pedagogical content knowledge, developed by Mishra and Kohler 2006, emphasizes the dynamic integration of technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge. In the context of the English language teaching program at the WADI, it highlights the need for future EFL teachers to use digital tools, not just as add-ons, but as transformative elements that support language learning in southeastern Mexico's specific realities. Complementing TPAC is the technology acceptance model by Davis 1989, which explains how Preservice teachers adopt digital tools and AI based on their perceived usefulness and ease of use. The study also examines the evolving role of EFL teachers, shifting from traditional knowledge transmitters to facilitators and mentors who must develop strong digital literacy while preserving human connection, emotional support, and critical thinking. This research explored the advantages and disadvantages of technology integration in EFL teaching. On one hand, digital tools offer personalized learning, immediate feedback, greater access to authentic materials, and the ability to overcome geographical barriers. On the other hand, challenges include the digital divide, equity issues, over-reliance on AI, and the risk of losing authentic human interaction. The study seeks to understand how Preservice teachers perceive these changes and how to achieve a balanced, equitable integration of technology that enhances that rather than replaces the human essence of language teaching. In view of the paucity of evidence regarding the impact of technology on educational processes in the context of EFL teacher training, the present study aims to explore Preservice EFL teachers' perceptions of technology's impact on the English language learning process, with emphasis on both learning experiences and future educator roles. The study seeks to identify the perceived advantages and disadvantages of digital tools, online resources, and emerging technologies, including AI, in English language acquisition, and to understand Preservice EFL teachers' views regarding the evolving role of educators in environments mediated by technology. In the pursuit of this objective, these 2 questions were addressed. 1, what advantages and disadvantages does using technology have on language acquisition? And 2, in what ways is the role of EFL teachers affected by technological mediation? The study adopted a qualitative exploratory approach to deeply understand the lived experiences, perceptions, and reflections of Preservice EFL teachers regarding technology integration in language teaching. Participants were 22 junior students from the bachelor's degree in English language teaching at the Autonomous University of Yucatan, selected through convenient sampling, 3 men and 19 women aged 19 and to 24 years old, all full-time students not employed with voluntary participation. Although the sample size and sampling method limit generalizability, they were appropriate and practical for this exploratory study. Data were collected through a face-to-face focus group open interview. The discussion focused on 4 key areas: resource accessibility, engagement and motivation, skills development and interaction, and evolution of the teacher's role. The session was audio recorded with consent and transcribed verbatim. The data were analyzed using thematic analysis with coding and theme development guided by the study's research questions, focusing on advantages, disadvantages, and implications of technology use in EFL teaching. For the first research question, which focused on identifying the advantages and disadvantages of using technology in language acquisition, participants highlighted several clear benefits. The most frequently mentioned advantage was the abundant and diverse range of resources available, cited by 90% of the students. They appreciated the vast quantity of freely accessible materials, with TikTok being the most popular at 45% for learning contextual phrases and everyday language through short, replayable videos. YouTube followed at 30%, valued for its wide variety of educational content, while Duolingo was noted by 20% as effective for vocabulary acquisition and self-paced learning. Kahoot and Google Translate were each mentioned by 15% of participants for providing interactive and engaging practice. The second most common advantage mentioned by 60% of participants was increased engagement and motivation. Students praised the dynamic, visually appealing, and concise nature of digital content, which helped them maintain attention better than traditional lectures and allow them to review materials at their own pace. Additionally, 30% of participants highlighted accessibility as a key benefit, noting that online resources and classes are particularly helpful for students who live far away or face logistical challenges, such as long commutes of over 2 hours to campus. On the other hand, participants also identified important disadvantages. The most frequently cited issue, raised by 72% of students, was weaknesses in the affective domain. They emphasized that technology and artificial intelligence lack empathy, emotional support, and the ability to respond to individual or unexpected student needs. The second major disadvantage, mentioned by 63% of participants, concerned limitations in speaking fluency and authentic interaction. While apps and AI can support initial practice, students stress that achieving real fluency requires face-to-face interaction with teachers and peers. One participant noted, there are other aspects where you need a teacher, such as practicing fluency. I think it's better in a classroom with real people. Furthermore, 50% of participants pointed out distractions as a significant problem during online classes. Finally, 36% expressed concerns about assessment and student effort, particularly the difficulty of distinguishing genuine student work from AI-generated content. For the second research question on how technology affects the role of EFL teachers, participants highlighted 2 main points. All 20 participants agreed that technology cannot replace human teachers, as educators are essential for providing empathy, emotional support, motivation, and handling individual student needs. One participator stated, AI is not going to replace teaching. It's not capable of doing everything that a teacher can do. 68% also noted a shift in the teacher's role from information providers to facilitators and guides, since students can now access information instantly through digital tools. Finally, 81% of participants advocated for a balanced integration of technology, combining digital tools with face-to-face interaction and proper teacher training to preserve the human element of education. The findings of this study reveal that Preservice EFL teachers recognize both the advantages and disadvantages of technology in language learning, maintaining a balanced and realistic perspective shaped by their future role as educators. Participants particularly valued the abundance and diversity of the resources which provide immediate, contextualized, and self-paced learning opportunities. They also appreciated improved engagement and motivation, although they clearly identified key disadvantages, including weaknesses in the affective domain and limitations in speaking fluency and authentic interaction. All participants agreed that technology cannot replace human teachers who remain essential for providing empathy and emotional support. At the same time, they noted a shift in the teacher's role from information provider to facilitator and guide. The study also highlights persistent challenges such as distractions and difficulties in assessing genuine student work. These findings align with international literature and support the development of hybrid pedagogical models that preserve the human element while leveraging technological benefits. Despite limitations such as a small convenient sample, the participants' reflections offer valuable insights for EFL teacher training in the Mexican context. The study's findings show that Preservice EFL teachers view technology as a powerful yet limited tool that improves resource access, engagement, and self-learning, but cannot replace the essential human elements of speaking fluency, authentic interaction, and emotional support. Participants unanimously agree that human teachers remain indispensable and that their role should evolve from information providers to facilitators. They strongly advocate for a balanced integration of technology with face-to-face teaching. Overall, these results highlight the need to develop future educators' digital competencies alongside critical skills. Okay, and finally, the following recommendations may prove useful for educators, program designers, decision makers, and for future research. The study offers practical recommendations for teachers. It suggests incorporating comprehensive digital and AI literacy training into the curriculum, designing hybrid courses that combine technology with face-to-face speaking practice and emotional support. For decision makers at WADI and similar institutions, the recommendations include investing in reliable infrastructure to reduce the digital divide, promoting faculty development in blended pedagogies, and establishing clear guidelines for technology use in assessment. Finally, for future research, it calls for large-scale mixed method studies across Mexican universities, longitudinal research on the impact of technology on speaking skills and learner effects, and investigations into culturally responsive integration of global digital tools. Overall, the study emphasizes the importance of a balanced, human-centered approach to technology in language teacher preparation. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Jessica Zumarraga.